Steve, I have a question for you. I didn't ask it last time you were on the show. I went to your live event, right? You and 3 other comics, and someone asked you to tell a story it was a sex story of some sort. I forgot the details. You might remember. And then you didn't tell it because you had family at the event, and you promised to tell it here.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay.
What was the story that we didn't get to hear that night?
Okay, so what I didn't tell, it was when I was obviously like, look, I was terrible with women growing up. You know, I wasn't getting my dick touched like Woody was when he was 12, except by one 12-year-old, which was also me. So I didn't have sex in high school at all because everyone else decided. Like, the women got together and they're like, we vote no. I was like, I respect the committee's decision.
I love that because everybody else decided.
Yeah, they had a vote. So, so it wasn't until I became a comic that I started getting more confident. But at first, when I was getting this new attention, I didn't know when people were flirting with me. Like, even more so than the whole, like, oh, I'm going to teach you how to drive in an abandoned parking lot. So this woman came over to me after a show. It's my first year on the road. And she comes over to me and she's like, hey, you were really funny. And I was like, thank you so much. Figured that was it. And then she goes, I live right around here. And I was like, that's convenient. Like, that's what I said. I said how convenient that is because, like, she could drink and then not have to drive home, And then the worst part, she goes, I'm so embarrassed by this. She goes, you want to see my place? And I said, I'm not that into architecture. Those are the words that I said. Because I genuinely thought she was like, oh, I live in one of the historic homes around here. It was in South Carolina.
I'm not that into architecture. Oh, darn, he's gay.
So she kept hitting on me because she was broken in some sort of way. And clearly, she like got a little more overt, and then she was like, no, do you want to come back to my place with me? And I'm like, well, how else? Oh, and like finally I realized she wants to have sex with me.
She wants to show you her open floor plan.
Yeah. I also would have accepted flying buttress. So I guess I am into architecture. Anyway, so or art history. So I go back to her place and we start making out. And this is, by the way, a part of the story where you guys might disagree with me here. She said, oh, choke me. And I was like, this sounds like the advanced class. Like, I'm in 101. Like, I'm not into that. I'm still not into that to this day. Like, that is not something I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how almost murdering someone turns someone on.
You don't go that far. Unless they want
that's what... You know what? I was wrong when I said here's where you guys might disagree with me. I should have just said here's where Kyle and I are going to part ways.
We're all down to choke a bitch.
I'm on team Kyle here. Next time you handle business on your own, hold your breath, see if it doesn't get better.
I mean, I don't understand what...
My only question would be 1 hand or 2.
Blood or
I don't 3 or 4. Do you call in a buddy? Like there are...
You don't have to understand the appeal of it personally, but if she likes that and it gets her off, there's nothing wrong with that.
I have choked women unconscious.
I mean, we all have. Oh, you mean in a sexual context? Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. That's way different.
That's how I get them to say yes.
In a battle, sometimes they come at you, and that's the best way to diffuse the situation. Just choke them unconscious. No, always in a sexual connotation. Yeah.
I've heard a couple of comics do a version of the joke of like, when my wife wants me to choke her during sex, it's fine, but during an argument, it's inappropriate.
So she asked you to choke her.
So she asked me to choke her, and I was like, no. I don't know. Look, Kyle, you're rolling your eyes. Look, I was like 23 and barely knew what the fuck I was doing.
Prime choking age.
That's prime choking age. Your hands are supple and strong.
Here's what. First of all, I was worried. Like, I get all in my head, and I'm like, how do you know you like that? Like best case scenario, she was having sex and something heavy fell on her, and she was like, I'd like to recreate this at a later date. Like, how do you know? Without abuse, how do you know? And I'm like, I'm not an expert on an episode of SVU.
Very close-minded.
Well,
on the
I was
choking
fucking
thing.
her while she was bench pressing, and she dropped the bar.
She had no spotter, but she was like, "This is really good." She was like, "Wait, hold on."
Does it work with the microphone like this?
So I had said no, because here's the thing: like, what if I don't know my own strength? Like, I've never tried to almost murder
I
someone.
think you're okay.
I think you'd be okay. Most
Kyle,
likely
you just
scenario is
choked
she's like,
people
no,
unconscious.
harder, and you're like, this is all I have.
You're not
Look,
Taylor.
probably. But what if it turns out I'm like Lenin of Mice and Men, and I'm just like Pretty Rabbit, and then what? You know?
I don't see that being an issue for you.
Look, I can open a pickle jar very easily. Okay, I have very strong hands.
So is
think
that where
you're
it
as
wraps
strong as
up?
Hillary
She wanted you to
Clinton,
choke her, and you said no.
And I said no, and then I mean the story like the stage version has more flourish to it, but like
That's a cool. Yeah.
I was just basically it's a story about me having potentially rough sex that I did not want to tell in front of family.
Yeah.
Now, have you felt more comfortable? Like if your girl now asked you, "Oh,
I have done it. I have
Okay.
done it when asked now. Like, but it's something also that like I don't know. You know how like if you have an itch, you can scratch it just the right amount because
Yeah.
you know the pressure that your hand is on. But if you ask someone else to scratch your itch, that doesn't really help that much.
The
Yeah, they
same is
always
true
suck
with
at it.
hand jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with hand jobs. So this is the hand job theorem. So like if you start choking someone, like you don't know how much they want it. You don't know how tight to do it, and then it starts getting really academic where you're like more, less, because if you do that, no,
No, they want to lose
Kyle,
control.
You're shaking your head.
I just
Yeah,
squeeze
like-
until I see panic in the eye."
Absolutely. See, what they're going for there is to lose control and for you to be in control and for them to be sort of dominated in a certain way. Or some of them literally get off on going unconscious and the rush that they get from regaining consciousness during sex. So once you figure out which it is, then you know how hard to squeeze. It's always really fucking hard, though.
Once
I've
you
never seen a
figure
girl who's
out-
just like, oh, that's too hard. Never heard that.
Yeah,
It's
it always comes out
harder.
Yeah.
You know
It
what?
always comes out like
Keep going.
nothing.
I'm moving this podcast from people in vlogs to educational just because of that. Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah. I've never seen
New
a chick who
YouTube
was like, oh,
category.
that was too hard.
I have
Never
a feeling
once.
though, Kyle. I have a feeling that you and I are not dating the same girl.
I've dated all sorts of girls, like all sorts of young ladies and older women, and from just the full gamut, the entire spectrum.
Young ladies and older women, from young Dakota Fanning to Miss Daisy. Like what?
from 19 to 45, and they all like being choked, and they all like being choked real fucking hard.
I wanted you
And
to
my
say younger
point
and
is-
older women and go like 18 to 24. The whole gamut.
Yeah. 18 to 18 and a half. You know what I mean?
As soon as they can drink.
Depending on the state. Yeah, they all want to be choked real fucking hard, and some of them literally want to be choked unconscious. Which, it's an interesting experiment because, like, if you've never choked a woman unconscious with your bare
I've never
hands,
choked a woman unconscious.
well, you'd be surprised, Taylor, just how fucking easy it is. You might choke a
don't think
man
I would.
unconscious. I've choked a man unconscious before, and I've got to get him in a fucking rear naked choke and like use like my shoulders and my arms and like I'm like flexing my bicep and I'm really locking it in to choke a woman unconscious. Oh, it just get both hands on the sides of the neck and give it a good squeeze, and she's out
Now,
in
do you think it's
45
because
seconds.
she's a woman and therefore
Yeah.
weaker and inferior, or because she's not fighting back?
Oh, she's fighting back.
Okay. Well, we do it differently
Miss you
then.
guys.
See,
You know,
that's
like,
part of
every
this
time-
dance that Kyle and his lovers are doing.
every time
Scratching
he
and
texts me,
clawing and begging.
And he's like, "Hey, do you want to do the show?" And I'm like, I haven't listened to people describe sexual assault in a while. So
In a positive light, no less, apparently.
Oh my God. I went out with one woman who just wanted me to hold my hand there, not squeeze at all.
Sure.
Just to, I don't know if it was a stability thing or like the thought of it or whatever it was, but
Yeah.
she was like, "Yeah, just place your hand there," and I was like, "All right, that's."
I love that Kyle has
Stability
experience
thing.
with no matter what you get. Like, I went with a girl. She liked to be fish hooked. Sure. Yeah. We all know the fish hook women. That's their thing.
She wants to be fish.
Yeah.
I want to know, Steve, so you're
Yeah.
okay with the choking now. is there still something now that if your girl requested it, you'd be like, no.
Oh, there's
no,
plenty
that's
of
ridiculous.
stuff. Plenty of stuff. Like
It doesn't have to be crazy, like poop on me or something. Like
That's right where my head went.
Anything involving anything scatological at all. Like
I'm with you there. That's disgusting.
Yeah,
It's not my
shitting
thing.
or pissing or anything like that. Because the idea, like, in
No
order
pee.
to
Is pissing scatological? I actually
No, it's not. But
Okay.
no pee at all.
categorize it wrong. You're
Maybe a
I'm
little
not,
pee.
I always thought
Pissological.
scatological meant pooping, and now I'm not sure.
Look, I don't want to have to salvage my title.
Scatological was popular in the early 1900s when the guy was like, boop bop beep bop ba da boop bop.
Yeah,
No, that's scat.
Oh, my bad.
yeah. When
That's
I
why
first
my
thought,
porn is becoming up so confusing.
yeah, scat porn.
It's a
Just a
guy-
bunch of
but he's
porn
just
with
fucking a
jazz
woman. He's going beep bop boop bop beep bop bop. Trombone player.
Man, this scat porn's a little slow, huh?
That's not what rusty trombone
Catchy,
means,
though.
Taylor.
I'm not 100% sure. Does excrement just mean poop, or can that mean pee?
No, excrement means poop.
To me, it means poop, and scat always means shit. But yeah, I'll absolutely
the
pee on a
peeing then?
girl.
Physiological.
I'll absolutely pee on a girl. I would have, no issue with that whatsoever. I'm down for that. I think that, just
But then she's got pee on her.
well, then that
It would have to be in the shower because otherwise you'd make a mess.
Yeah.
I pee on you in the bathtub, Taylor. That way, there's plenty of room for both of us, and then you get in the shower.
And then you're sitting in the bathtub with pee?
The drain's open.
So
I'm not
it's
collecting the pee.
You save the pee.
I'm not saving it for later or anything.
I've been doing this all wrong. So wait, so you pee, there's no water in the bathtub.
None.
She's like, I want you to pee on me. And you're like, get in the bathtub
Yeah,
because I'm a gentleman.
absolutely, I am.
And also, these are nice tile floors. And I don't want to have to clean this up
I mean,
later.
Hardwood, but I get your
watched
point.
this.
Yeah.
Or I used to listen to this podcast about sex and love, and he said the beginner's guide to peeing on one another is to start in the shower, which made a lot of
think
sense
you
to
should
me.
start
Something with a drain, or go outdoors. That's always fun.
But I think the shower just makes it sort of immediately gone. You feel the warmth of the pee, and then like you're clean afterwards.
If you're into piss play and you're doing it on your mattress, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, you're gonna want some rubber sheets for that, my friend,
Rubber sheets.
Kyle's
like
got a
a
solution
like
for
a
everything.
plastic like wrap around my
and a
my
wet
mattress.
dry shop vac. Yeah,
Yeah. And
which is
exhaust
dual
fan.
purpose in this scenario. We're gonna have some more fun with
Yeah.
that later.
Before you launder it,
Also,
bring in the
bucket of sawdust by the bed.
rookie kitty litter. You got to put kitty litter on that. It'll soak it all up.
Honestly, I think in 2019 it's a little
getting
sexist to
hard
not
to
pee
talk
on a
about.
woman who would prefer it.
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
Who are
It
you
is.
to deny her your
Who do you
piss?
think you are? Let it fly. No, and she,
Apparently, I'm a bad feminist, man. That's
no,
what
I'm
am.
definitely.
I
down
ate
to-
a bunch of asparagus last night, and it really is. You know how when you fart, and like the smell is immediately in your nose, and you're like, I don't know how it traveled that quickly. Like
Yeah.
you know that feeling. That with piss, with asparagus. Like I ate it, and I feel like 20 minutes later, my piss smells horrible, and I just don't know how it can go through my body that fast.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way, and I have the same confusion. Like that was 15 minutes ago. How can I already be peeing out this?
It's the same
rancid-
problem as White Castle shits.
Well, that I
where-
don't know.
I could eat a White Castle. Well, you don't ever eat one. I could eat 15 White Castle burgers right now, and the 2-hour mark in this show, I'll be pooping, and it'll smell like a White Castle kitchen.
Which, by the way,
delicious.
is very weird. Okay, I mean, look, this whole thing is weird for many reasons, but I read a thing saying that like you don't poop out what you eat right away. It's like a couple days later,
I've
like
always
a-
heard it was a day, but it just doesn't.
or whatever it is.
Taylor
but
talks
how-
about
12,
White
16 hours.
Castle frosted mini wheats over here. I
See,
mean,
but there's a way
I
that
can't
poop
eat those
can,
and
like-
plan anything. That's not
Like
like
poop can lap other food. I feel like because like if I ate a bunch of asparagus and rice and grilled chicken, and then the next day if I haven't defecated that out yet, I eat White Castle. I don't know how it's gonna do it, but it's gonna deke and dodge its way, get ahead, and it'll come out.
I
first.
think it contaminates the original poop. Like I think as it's pushing it down, it's just like we're going to give you some of this. of this
seeping in.
White
I'm
Castle
not a
poop.
doctor, but I'm pretty sure your digestive system is a lot like the track at your high school, and there's separate lanes for every meal, and one can finish before the other.
That was
so.
always my understanding of it.
I got a Facebook message the other day from someone who was like, "Hey, I really like your comedy, but I want to listen to it with my kids in the car. And so, do you have a playlist of like your cleaner clips?" And I think I'm just going to send her a link to this episode.
That sounds perfect.
Well, you see, children, sometimes you get the White Castle shits. What
Well,
you don't
kids,
want to
you ever
do.
choke a woman unconscious?
The best part is when she wakes up because she doesn't.
Because if she doesn't, you've got a lot of troubles. On your
Well, honestly, when she
relief
wakes up, you're a
kicks
little
in.
relieved. Always, you're like, good, because I wasn't sure if this was fun or time to call someone to help me. Time.
What's the
Was there
longest
ever a
it's
time?
been?
Yeah.
Oh,
the longest it's been
it's
between?
fast. It's fast, like 3 seconds or something.
But has she
Like-
woken
like-
up confused about how she got there?
No, she wakes up and literally like is almost having a seizure.
Yeah.
Like she's like ah, like literally seizing a little bit because
You're
know
not
just
really
kind of-
selling this.
Is there like
Oh.
pussy twitching, like squeezing?
Yes.
There you
Yes!
go. All right.
And her mouth, So what you don't
Careful.
want to do is choke a chick unconscious while she's sucking. your
That's
dick.
why I always fuck with a wallet or leather belt nearby. Just put it in their
I
teeth,
usually put.
hold their tongue.
You joke about this,
Jesus.
but what I've done in the past is I would put 2 fingers in her mouth so she wouldn't bite her tongue, and like as she's waking up, it's like this compulsive like bite sort of thing as she's coming back to life.
Because you're a considerate person.
And I'm just like, ow, god damn! I'm glad that wasn't my dick. I would have lost it.
I
Jesus
love that you're like,
Christ.
what the hell is wrong with you, person I just choked unconscious?
She wanted it.
So I've never been choked unconscious during sex, but I've been choked unconscious many times. And I always wake up like forgetting
Explain.
how we got here. I used to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a little MMA and stuff.
Okay, that's good. No, I was a parking attendant for a while.
Yeah,
Well, he
so
worked as an attendant
but-
at a men's bathroom.
and not only is there a period of time that everyone has except you, which for somehow in me is very embarrassing, but also I forgot how we got here. Like, oh right, I was training, or oh right, I agreed to this. There's a clip of me getting choked out on my YouTube channel. It was Joe Lozon's grappling coach at the time, and I completely forgot we were in Japan, why we were there, how I got in this situation. I just come to, and everyone's laughing at me, and I don't know why. And it takes a little while to sort of.
Same thing happens when Kyle chokes a girl
That's
unconscious.
what I wonder.
Why am I in
Everyone there's
Yeah.
laughing.
I have no idea, but
been
suddenly
unconscious
this
for
guy's got
a
his
very
cock in my
long
pussy,
time.
and like I forgot what we were up to. It could take a second. No,
Do you
Yeah.
have you noticed with like even Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys that you have a more intense pass out reaction than they do? Like, do they wake up and experience the same thing you do, where they're like, "Where am I?"
Oh,
or
yeah.
are you like, "Oh,
Absolutely.
I have a particularly strong reaction"?
no, I think
The
it's pretty
worst
typical.
power
of me.
for an X-Man.
and everyone wakes up and the thing in the gym when someone actually goes unconscious, suddenly it gets everyone's attention, and like Kyle said, we called it the funky chicken. They kind of like jitter and go a little crazy. Everyone's
Yeah.
watching that experience. They have these different like non-scientific methods of helping, like pick his feet up. I don't know. It makes
Pick his
Yeah,
feet up.
yeah.
Get him some OJ.
No, you
Shove
do
a
pick their
protein
feet.
shake down his throat. Always helps.
You elevate the legs and you get more blood flow to the brain.
Right. I see now. I have the same understanding. I just don't know if it's been clinically tested.
It's absolutely, yeah.
I'm pretty happy with
Okay.
my hobbies.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
You're
I have
missing
no
out.
desire to get
You're
choked.
missing
But-
out.
By the way,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
we,
All right,
can we
Taylor.
just-
look, you were wrong about Tinder. You were wrong about salt. You were wrong about sexual performance enhancing drugs.
Taylor,
and now
you idiot.
you're wrong about choking bitches unconscious. Get on this.
I was on your team saying if that's what she wants, it's fine. It's just
Oh,
not
she
my. It's
No,
she
not
just
my
doesn't
thing.
know it yet. Taylor.
Kyle thinks that you are not deep enough on the team, and I think he might be onto something.
You know
Look,
what?
look,
You know
look.
what? Even if when my girl gets over tonight, I don't care if she wants it or not. I'm gonna give choking a go, and I'll report back either from here next week or in a cell.
Trust
Yep.
me, if she doesn't like it, she'll probably not understand what happened and just be confused.
There you go.
Why's my neck hurt?
You can deny it. You can
You
be like,
fell.
what? No, I didn't choke a
You
bitch.
fell.
What's Kyle doing here?
You fell on my hands, and I went ah.
My neck kind of hurts too. It's going
Kyle's
around.
here. I needed a spotter. I didn't know how long to hold until I let you go. But he was he was really serious about 5 solid minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I would have a little. I mean, I haven't done it at all, much less as many times as you, Kyle. But I can like already tell I would have like a real feeling of panic when I was in the middle of sex and I choke someone out, and I'm like, oh no!
Yeah.
Like, there's no way my dick's staying hard. Like, I'm gonna, or
and like
maybe
a
it'll
diamond.
get even harder.
It gets even like a diamond when you see her go limp, and you're not sure if she's ever coming back again. I'm telling
Taylor, it's like a diamond, small, reflective, and a lot of people died to achieve it.
And really overrated. Yeah.
Like a
you, hardest thing on earth, like a blood diamond. Yes.